So I guess that means we are recording. I probably should have checked the fucking the levels. Check. Okay, we're good. We good. I didn't check the audio prior. And this is a show that has been prone to audio troubles. Where do I plug this fucking thing in? Should have thought of that before too. And all sorts of other things that I did not think of before. Of course, this is a pre-recording. I could just stop and fucking do all of this. It's very, very dark in here. Oh, here's the headphone jack. There it is. Can I find it? There we go. Slip it in. Almost had to use the thumb trick. If you know, you know. Okay, there it is. There it is. We're all set up. I'm sorry. I went for a very long run in the cold. It's very cold out today, so I'm a bit loopy. Got a nice 8 miles in though. But we're pre-recorded because I have a dinner engagement to attend this evening. A lot of dinners this month. I have many dinners to go to. It's the holidays. You get a lot of that stuff. But of course, so much to discuss this week. First and and a lot of it revolving around New York City too. Much of it. This is at times a New York City centric show. Of course, I live across the river from New York City, and I'm in there several days a week, so that would make sense. I really can't take myself fucking seriously because I can see myself on the monitor here, and I have like an aggressive circle beard and chin strap going. It doesn't look like that if I'm in person. It's just that however the light is hitting me is the rest of my stubble isn't picking up. Like if you saw me face to face, you would be like, oh, that guy's got, he's just stubbly. But here it looks like I have a very intentionally cultivated circle beard. And that's not, I don't want people to think that I'm the kind of guy who goes out and intentionally cultivates a circle beard. One of the worst beards. But anyway, I'll shave after this. Take a shower, fucking tug my hog a little bit, and then and that'll be that. I probably will tug my hog a little bit. Good time. Coming up this weekend in New York City, SantaCon. It is SantaCon NYC. I love SantaCon. I'm not going this year. It's my nephew and my father's birthday, so I'll be down the shore for a family gathering. But I love SantaCon. People hate SantaCon. I don't know why people hate SantaCon. I get that there's a lot of drunk Santas walking around New York City, but there are drunk people walking around the city all the time. There are, interestingly, the people who hate SantaCon because of all the drunks walking around New York City are the same people who, we'll talk about this in a moment, Daniel Penny was exonerated, who are angry that Daniel Penny wasn't convicted. Daniel Penny being the guy who choked the Michael Jackson impersonator. He choked him on the subway because the Michael Jackson impersonator was threatening to kill people, announcing, "I'm going to kill today," to people on the subway. So Daniel Penny restrained him, and in the process of that, the guy died, which obviously is, it's sad that someone is dead. That's, he is someone's family member, and at one time he was just a little baby, and it's terrible that people go down that path. But there is a subset of people in New York City who they would like to convince us that we should accept the fact that there are just unhinged psychos on the subway who may decide to become violent at a moment's notice, and we should just accept that as opposed to believing that something should be done about it. And there's considerable overlap between these people and the people who just hate SantaCon. But I love SantaCon. It's just a bunch of people dressing like Santa going out to drink in the city. And again, like, New York City is a drinking city. Like, people go to New York pretty much if you're going to the city as an adult. If you're either going for work or to drink. Those are the reasons that people go to New York City as an adult. You're either going in because you have to, you're doing your job, you work in one of the big buildings, you carry a briefcase, and you go to New York City to work. And even then, after work, you're probably going to do a fair amount of drinking. Like, New York is just a drinking place. It's one of what I would say are the good things about New York, is that you can have a fucking blast going out and tying one on in New York City. And I don't drink the way I did in my younger days. I would say I'm about 2018. I'm probably about 6 years removed from being like a raging fucking booze hound. And I can tell you, New York City is a great place to go do booze hound stuff. And SantaCon is very much a booze hound event. And a lot of cocaine, too. A lot of stimulants. A lot of chicks dressed like sexy Mrs. Clauses. There will be a lot of very, very hoish behavior. But fun. I mean, it's chicks, it's slutty looking chicks dressed up like Mrs. Claus, and you're drinking all day with your friends. You might do some cocaine. I don't understand what there is to dislike about this event. I understand saying I'm not going to participate in SantaCon because, I'm too old to do that to my body, or, I have, something, I have to get up early the next day to run a fucking 10K, whatever mature shit you have going on. I mean, I'm not doing it this year, but I'm still a supporter. I'm still cheering for SantaCon. I believe in its existence. The same way children believe in Santa Claus, I believe in SantaCon. It warms my heart to know that what are they official? I think it's always the second Saturday of December. It warms my heart to know that tomorrow the streets of New York City will be flooded by former frat bros and former slutty sorority sisters and finance bros and meatheads and cokeheads and douchebags from New Jersey and Long and Staten Island. And they'll all be gallivanting around dressed as Santa Claus and having an awesome time. And I support that. I want that to happen. I want there to be stories about, because everyone, if your boy's living in Murray Hill or whatever, everyone's going to have those stories about somebody fucking waking up soaking in piss on an air mattress, or, fucking, yeah, like, dude, he woke up, he took a shit and like they were out of toilet paper. So like he used a hand towel and then he just draped it back over the thing. And he left before everybody else. My brother's got a great story like that from college. Apparently there was this, a guy on their campus who he liked other fellas and often found himself on the bottom in such situations. So I guess he had a loose beehole and shit on some chick's kitchen floor. And I guess like he fucking I guess he just went to sleep on the couch and woke up in the morning and he had cleaned up the shit, but like there were still like little like streaks of it and there was shit like on his clothes. I got to ask, but I'm going to see my brother tomorrow at the family function. I'll have to ask him for a retelling of that story. But yeah, there will be all sorts of, there's going to be a lot of erectile dysfunction because you have a lot of, when you mix booze and coke, and you have to remember a lot of these SantaCon participants, they party very hard. They're at an age, most of them, in their 20s through early 30s, where they're partying hard maybe 3 nights a week, and that throws off your whole hormone balance. It really does take some of the sting out of your erection when you're drinking that often, that regularly. I feel like for that the emergence of Blue Chew and the Rhino 5000s and all of that was so huge back in those days, because then you could still get a potent erection while putting just all of these dick-killing substances in your body. But there are going to be a lot of guys who hook up with chicks and they go back somewhere and they're fooling around, and it doesn't work. I remember I was out interviewing women from SantaCon, and a lot of them were making fun of guys' penile performances. Apparently, there are many cases of women in their 20s being presented with limp, flaccid, or otherwise weak genitals. And not just on SantaCon. By the way, I am feeling so fucking Christmassy right now. I'm drinking a little coffee here, and I had some peppermint bark, and I melted the peppermint bark, and I frothed it up with some heavy cream, and it's in my coffee, and it feels like Christmas. Yeah, SantaCon. I remember doing, I was in a bar. I was sitting on the shitter. We'd been doing cocaine and eating Taylor ham, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwiches all morning to pregame. And I remember taking some coke into the bathroom at this bar, and I had to take a shit, and I wanted to do a bump, and just sitting there trying to fucking balance a key bump while I sat and took because I was still blasting out dukes, and you kind of, every time you contract your fucking colon, that sends that little shock through your body. You have to exercise a lot of core discipline while you're doing this. And I'm trying to do it, and my keys are fucking jingling, and I hear these guys talking outside of the bathroom stall, and one of them says, hey, you a cop too? And the other one says, yeah. He said, well, what are you, NYPD? How about you, state police? I'm like, shit. So I just sat there fucking just quiet as a mouse, didn't snort anything, waiting for them to fucking leave with all of this big mound of fucking coke sitting on my apartment keys. I finally heard the door swing open and close, and I was able to confidently take my bump without worrying about the police outside. Christmas time, babe. We're all dreaming of a white Christmas, aren't we? Anyway, people hate it. Bunch of fucking wet blankets, if you ask me. I'm just checking on the time here. Oh, we're only 13 minutes in. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to get in a full hour today. I think I have to go get ready for this gathering. But I did want to show you, because I think there's this sort of myth that's being propagated now in New York amongst, like I said before, the lib set, that the subway isn't really that dangerous, that nothing bad ever happens down there, and that Daniel Penny, who's the Marine who was charged by that douchebag Alvin Bragg, Penny grabbed, the Michael Jackson impersonator was threatening to kill people and was going after, I guess, a woman and a child. And that's when Daniel Penny intervened. He said he didn't want to. He said he it was only when that happened that he felt a woman and I think a child were in danger that he jumped in. People will try to convince you that the subways are A, perfectly safe, or that B, when stuff that like this happens, that you should just kind of sit there and allow it to take its course. So let me see. Let me present this. Where? Present them to me. This very start from the beginning.
Stop it. Stop
By the way, you hear me talk about the Port Authority men's bathroom all the time. This kind of shit goes on in that fucking bathroom all the fucking time, and in the hallway around it. Like that. This is what I'm talking about out on the street in New York City when I say that I just run into every manner of nut job in the world on my way to work in the morning. Like imagine this guy, but out on like a busy city sidewalk and everybody has to navigate around him. It's so much. And like you start to recognize them after a while. You're like, oh, I've seen that. I see that guy like 3 times a week.
Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I guess the idea is that you're supposed to just sit there. And I guess, this time you get lucky. This guy doesn't do it because he looks like a reasonably big guy. Like this guy looks like he would be tough to handle. And if Daniel Penny, who is a Marine Corps, I think he's a combat veteran. He was with the infantry. If a guy like him isn't there, or if like a couple guys like him aren't there, this guy could be a real big fucking problem. like this is not. Are there other places where, and I obviously understand that there are bad neighborhoods and stuff, but this is like the subway. This is a common area. This is supposed to be ideally supposed to be sort of a normal place, like a town square where everything is on the up and up. Of course, we know it's not, but that's the ideal. I always wonder to what degree, like, this exists elsewhere. Because I grew up in the suburbs, and you don't get this in the fucking burbs. And you become to a degree numb to it after a while. But that doesn't mean it's any less of a problem. Like I still, yes, I see this kind of thing every day, and people walking around talking about stabbing people and cutting off people's limbs. I remember there was one guy walking around threatening to cut people's hands off with his blade. I mean, it was just it's very like there's a menacing air to New York City in many places, especially as it relates to mass transit or some of the more populated areas of the city. But you see it so much that you just start to be like, it's not that you don't recognize it as, oh, this is a serious threat to safety, this is a bad thing. It's that you're just not jaw agape at it anymore. Like, once you've seen it so many times, you're just like, okay, this is what I have to do to avoid this fucking nut job. Let me do that. The problem is on the subway, you're trapped in a metal tube with them. And at any given moment, the subway sometimes just stops and it will sit for a while. And it could be a long while. And the doors will be closed. No one will be going anywhere. And whoever you are in the car with, you are in the car with for quite some time. And then it gets going again eventually. Sometimes longer than others. But yeah, that's the thing. And sometimes you go for a while without getting to a stop. So if this guy's like this guy could be a massive, massive problem. And yet there are New York City council members. There are, and this is not, by the way, this is not the guy that Daniel Penny had to restrain. The guy that Daniel Penny had to restrain was a Michael Jackson impersonator, which is, it's so, I mean, yeah, it just adds such like an odd little extra element. I'm sorry, I'm very, fucking distance running makes me feel like I'm on heroin. So I wind up feeling very chill after I go for a long run, and it's difficult to at times focus or even keep myself. That's why I'm drinking coffee. Fucking long distance running makes me like start to like nod off, like I'm fucking all doped up. Especially out in the cold. The hormone dump is incredible, however. But yeah, this is normal. The guy shouting at the bus driver that the other day at the Port Authority threatening to kill her. I'm gonna kill you, bitch, is normal. We see it all the time. But it doesn't mean it's good, right? It doesn't mean that it's like safe or okay. And it's such a weird thing for people to take that position, and especially when these people tend to be, in my estimation, the biggest actual pussies. Like they're the same ones who can be hurt by a word, but they would like to. With a straight face, they will tell you that the vagrant threatening to kill anyone who walks within 5 feet of him is no problem. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and do one more. So this will wind up being a shorter episode tonight. And again, because I got to get to dinner. I got to shower. I got to shave. I got to scrub my balls. Oh, what the fuck? Before I get into the next story, there are like these single person cars now. Let me, I'm going to pull one of these up. I think I saw one of these today. Yeah. So I'm fucking after my run was over, I went and my car was parked a few blocks away because we have alternate side parking here, so I'd moved it for street cleaning. Let me see if I can find one that looks like the one that I saw. It's fucking weird. Real weird. No, is that it? Is that it? Is that it? I'm sorry. There was like a pop-up or a banner ad for these single person electric cars, and I saw one today, and it was the weirdest fucking thing. Come on. Where are you? single person cars. I mean, all of these cars look kind of like it. I'm trying to find one because these all look kind of sturdy. This thing looked. I don't even know how to describe it. It looked like a children's toy, almost. I don't know. Maybe I can't find a picture of anything similar to it. But I don't know. I can't find a good picture of one because the pictures, they all look considerably more substantial. But this thing was like, it was a fraction of the size of a car. It was literally like, it looked like the guy was driving around inside of like a, something the size of, like almost as big as like, if you cut a refrigerator box in half, this guy was driving around, and these things are going to be a fucking nightmare. Because especially in cities, every fucking douchebag there are so many people who live in like urban areas who they try to make their lives like incredibly efficient. Everything becomes about efficiency to them. It's a very odd thing. A lot of like Indian guys are very into it, but like it's weird. Like everything is like they just a small, like they don't want, why, they don't need a car. Why do you need a car? I just need this weirdo one person thing to scoot around town in. And all of a sudden, we're going to have just dozens and dozens and hundreds of these fucking things all over. Like, it's the problem with e-bikes and scooters now. It was bad a couple years ago. Now it's like, it's gotten so fucking out of control. They're all over the goddamn. You go to Washington Street in Hoboken, it's literally just, it's just lined with these fucking e-bikes. Because of Uber Eats. I could definitely see these weirdo little mini, maybe this one kind of looks like what he was driving. Let me see if I can share this. Well, let me see. I know I can. Why don't you take a seat right over there? Is this it? Yeah. So I can make this bigger. Open image, new tab. Here we go. This is what I should share. Yeah, so it's something like this. And he was like cutting people off and not following any of like the light rules or anything like that. Basically, this is like if someone was driving a golf cart on the street on Patterson Plank Road, which is it's not a street that's designed for anyone to be driving a golf cart down. So this is going to be just a huge annoyance that I sense in the next couple of years will begin appearing all over the place. But yeah, I was very I watched him because I was driving. I was about to cross through an intersection, and all of a sudden, he just jetted through a fucking red light and made this turn, and then he zipped through a fucking intersection at a red light. He was blowing red lights left and right, and then he crossed a double yellow to get into a Walgreens parking lot and cut off a bunch of oncoming traffic. So I have and he was vaping the entire time he was driving. I could see he was vaping. So I have a feeling these things are going to be a complete nuisance. Like, these are going to be very popular amongst the sort of tech douchebag set. Okay. So and this is, sorry, I'm fucking, woo, yeah. Oh, my body is just so relaxed. Like, it feels like I got you, like, I just got like a deep massage. You know, that level of relaxation where you're just like if I were to close my eyes and just lean back like this, I'm pretty sure I'd be out like a light in like 5 minutes. Anyway, no indication suspect in CEO killing was ever insured by UnitedHealthcare. So that's the latest in the Luigi Mangione saga. Everyone is obsessed with Luigi Mangione. This guy has become like a folk hero. Everyone on the internet, they're swooning over. Not me personally. I think he should be treated like a person who guns down a complete fucking stranger in public. You know, I think it's this celebration that everyone's having because this guy was shot. Like, this will do nothing. I do not see mass reform coming from this. I don't think that the guy who was shot would have been capable of reforming the industry, even if he wanted to. I think just there is all of this misplaced, like, I think people just spend so much time on the internet that they're able to be sort of fucking led down these thought paths where everything now, there's so many people who are so deep into not actual politics, but political personality. And this is, you know, the whole eat the rich thing, and you know how fucking, you know, billionaires are the cause of all of the world's problems. Even this is usually said unironically by people who use Amazon and Starbucks and all these other things. So there's this sort of idea or this attitude that has taken over amongst a lot of chronically online people, that it's somehow justified to shoot this guy because he was rich and he got rich working a healthcare company. As the system is constructed, we need, you know, the insurers. They do, you know, it's a weird system. It's a shitty, convoluted, and I'm sure at times very frustrating system. But, you know, somehow all that shit has to get sorted out. I'm sure there are better ways to do it. I believe the libertarian idea is to have insurance for like the big stuff like cancer and whatnot. But when you need to get a bone set, like if you break a bone, you just go, you pay a couple $100, they put you in a cast, and that's that. But, you know, this idea that everybody's cheering him and they're like, oh yeah, he must have gotten screwed by UnitedHealthcare or something like that. Turns out that he was never insured by UnitedHealthcare. So this guy, he just picked a sort of figurehead to be his target. And now they're putting up these wanted posters of all the other CEOs around New York City. It's very, very French Revolution-y. Not for me. I don't condone any of this. I think, you know, what the fuck? Like, this guy, First of all, something very strange going on. I was watching him fucking, walk up to give his valedictorian speech in high school or whatever the fuck that was, the graduation speech. And he did have he had a lot of that like Tim Walz in him. And then he's like, striking back against the system. He's just all over the fucking place. He's like a little fruity, a little bit athletic. There's just something's off there. Like he feels like a guy who was forever in search of an identity, and then he got whatever this back injury and subsequent surgery was. But I don't understand. Is he mad at the doctor who performed the surgery? Or is he Brian Thompson had nothing to do with this? That's so weird. Like, you go to all of this trouble. All of it. And by the way, his family owned a bunch of like nursing homes and shit in Maryland. He's from a very wealthy family. This is the kind of person I've always talked about, by the way, living in New York City. They're very online and they often come from wealthy backgrounds, and they engage in this sort of adventure activism or adventure homelessness, or, whatever it is, this sort of pseudo bohemian lifestyle. And I guess we'll find out more and more. I'd be very interested to find out more and more about his online activities. Some of his Twitter was kind of funny. I think he was talking about like titties and stuff like that. But, the idea that this was some guy striking a blow for the common man, this just sounds like a guy who got all fucking blown out on ayahuasca or mushrooms or acid or something like that, and lost his mind, and then spent fucking months convincing himself that he needed to assassinate the head of a healthcare company. Like, I don't think there was anything in this guy that's particularly heroic or altruistic. He killed somebody's father a few weeks before Christmas. He's not a fucking hero. And all the but look what they do. I mean, again, so, I would be more angry again at the people who abuse the system and use the fucking ER like a fucking general practitioner. And it's not that like, the corporate guys don't engage in scummy behavior. They do, but leaving it to the nation's most unhinged to sort them out probably isn't the best idea. Because a lot, like, you can start going down a line with that where, as we do in this country, once there's a string, we pull it and pull it and pull it. We went from having like Title IX or whatever, to encourage girls to play sports in the name of it's like equality and everything, and now there are trans women hopping in the pool, bringing their very own noodle during women's swimming races. So we tend to take anything in this country and really just let's see if we can blow this up to the nth degree. So where does it stop, right? If you own a brokerage and some idiot got in over his head on stocks, or like online gambling, I wonder if that's going to be the next one, with all these online betting things and guys losing shitloads of money because gambling for so many people is such a big hobby. I wonder when the first guy is going to blow the family nest egg and decide to off the head of one of these fucking gambling websites. That's got to be coming in a few years. I'm not suggesting it at all, but it does seem like that would be the kind of thing that would unfold. But people are soaking their fucking panties over Luigi Mangione. I wonder. I mean, he's probably going to be convicted, I would imagine. They're going to build an airtight case again. And people are like, no, the jury, like, okay, maybe, but I don't know. I have a feeling he will be convicted. He is going to be somebody's fucking cheeks behind bars. Like, he's just a slender, ripped twink. They're going to eat him alive. But anyway, speaking of I don't know what's going on with the, before we go, Kohberger. Before we wrap up, I just want to check on Brian Kohberger. We're just over a year past the murders. Kohberger, of course, the suspect in the University of Idaho massacre from last Thanksgiving. I guess the defense is trying to suppress some evidence. They haven't gotten to trial yet. I guess they're still going through discovery. Brian Kohberger's defense reveals stupid pop-ups. Alleged details from night of arrest at parents' Pennsylvania home. New court filings depict a chaotic night when the former PhD student was arrested at his parents' home in the Poconos. His lawyers say that cops broke the front door. They shattered the sliding glass door of the basement and held his entire family at gunpoint and alleged that while Kohberger was zip-tied, he made statements before having his rights read to him. Yeah, so they're just going to try to get as much shit thrown out as they can, like, fruit of the poisonous tree and whatever. They're saying that they illegally gathered evidence and used his genetic information. What they did to get him was they found DNA, I guess, on a knife sheath that was left at the scene of the crime. And then I think they took like pizza out of the I want to say it was a pizza box out of the garbage outside of his parents' house, and they fucking matched it with that. But so that's going on. I am looking forward to that trial starting. That one I will watch very closely. I wonder if that one will be televised on like Law and Order or Court TV or whatever the channel is. Anyway, folks, I got to wrap it up. Sorry, I was a little on the drowsy side tonight. That fucking dude, a good cold. If you're having trouble sleeping, get out there and do a good long run in the cold. I finished this one with like a big uphill, and it's on a big exposed viaduct, and the wind was just blasting. It was like I was running against fucking pressure. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. You guys have a great weekend. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler. The YouTube you can find at Mike's Golden Streams, or just search Mike Montone Sacktap Live on YouTube. And then what else? It's going to be pre-records for the rest of the year. I'm going to do one more show for the year, then I'll take a couple weeks off, and then we'll come back in January. But if you'd be so kind, please tell some people, take a screenshot, share it to wherever, Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you got to do. Spread the good word, my friends. All right, I will see y'all next week. Adios, motherfuckers. Well, I won't see y'all because it'll be a pre-record. But you know what I mean.